Let's start with last night. All right, here's what I'm going to say about the officiating, and this is really important. Shut up, America. You all have to stop bitching and complaining about the officiating. I'm going to say to you what my father and coaches used to say to me, and I now say to my players. It ain't your job. It's my job. Right? The players should never talk to the refs, only the coaches, only the owners. Those people, they can complain about it. But the idea that somehow it's a scourge about officiating, like, no, it's not. First, TV is better than it's ever been. We got more cameras. We got better angles. We got slower motion. We don't miss anything. Anything. And then you factor in our incessant need to make things that are imperfect, perfect. That's what we do. You name it, and the problem is we try and make imperfect things perfect. It's why you shouldn't get plastic surgery, man. I mean, unless you have some sort of deformity or you have a nasty scar or whatever. The worst is when you have really, really beautiful men and women, like beautiful women go in like, well, I just want to get a little touch up. And then it's like, They all look the same. You ever seen any of these women that are like 60, 70 years old? They've all had the facelifts. They all look the same. They all look like Jack Nicklaus with the joke rig. Here, Dance for the Devil by the Pale Moonlight. They're all surprised all the time. We try and make imperfect things perfect. The reason that rule books are so thick, right? The reason that there's such bureaucracy in Congress. Why? Because we try to make things that are imperfect perfect. I mean, that's really the whole deal about paying college athletes. Well, it's a really good system. It can be made better. No, it's nearly perfect. We're trying to make something that's imperfect perfect. So now we're going to have judgment calls reviewable, but only one such judgment call. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And, of course, it's made a mess of the officials. How many of you have studied the court of law or understand the basic concept of testimony? What is the least accurate testimony? What's the least accurate? Eyewitness testimony. Because your eyes can, in fact, deceive you. Right? So if eyewitness testimony is the least accurate test, what do you think is going to happen with a group of middle-aged men in an incredibly violent, incredibly explosive activity like football? They're going to miss one or two. And it's gotten to the point where you can't even enjoy, like, no one's pointed out, that was a hell of a football game. And you can say, well, I heard Colin Cowherd, like, Matt Stafford always loses that game. No, Matt Stafford usually makes the big mistake, and he didn't last night. Aaron Rodgers made some throws. You're like, holy crap! Did you see that? How did he do that? He had a couple balls dropping. He's rolling to his left, fires without stopping into the end zone. And what's the big tie? Jimmy Graham? I mean, the ball ricochets off Jimmy Graham right between the 8 and the 0. And the window is like minuscule. Like, oh my God. You want to talk about threading the needle. He makes some throws. He makes some plays. You're just like, what are you going to do? Even the pick he threw, which is a little behind his wide receiver who fell down, it still hit him literally in the face mask. He hit Aaron Jones. How about the little wheel route for Aaron Jones in the first half? Did you guys see that one? Like 40 yards down the field. Literally hit Aaron Jones through the hands into the face mask. You're like, you couldn't, and he didn't throw it hard. Couldn't have been thrown any better. But instead of appreciating, hell, it's Lambeau Field. The kicker did the Lambeau leap. It was another close game. The Lions are pretty good. Like the Matt Patricia thing is kind of working. Right? Kind of working. The Packers are finding ways to win games. They're 3-0 and now their division, making them what feels like a mortal lock to make the playoffs. Like all of these things can be discussed. Kind of like the Packers all-white uniforms. Anybody else? But instead we're like, man, they missed a couple calls. Of course they did. Newsflash, they always do in every sport throughout history. And there's a guy, Dan Orlovsky, okay, former Lion quarterback, who's like, this has to stop. You're ruining the game. Like, dude, the Immaculate Reception should have been called back. Did anybody watch the Steelers-Seahawks Super Bowl? There's a bunch of crummy calls there. They got to make bad calls. Got to make bad calls. No one has ever pitched a perfect game in officiating. So you want them to not call anything? That ends well. Right? It's hard. These guys are huge men with an incredibly violent sport. And though you don't have to see the entire field, you just see a small microscope, small area, window that you have to look at. And in a split second, you got to see, did he hit him in the face mask or did he hit him just in the shoulder pad? God, it's hard to tell. You know what you can't do? You can't go, I don't know. Because the play's over. That's it. It's bang, bam. Well, it's bang, bang play. Every play is a bang, bang play. So, yeah, I would like to get more calls right. And I've heard and I'm here sitting here saying this is the way it's always been. The officiating is better than it's always been. But so too is the technology. And if you want every call to be made perfect, then you are in for 4.5-hour boring as hell football games. You just are. We can't even get end of game celebrations anymore. Hold on. We got to go to the booth because every scoring play is reviewed. Okay, now you can celebrate. Right? It's nuts. Imagine you remember the band is on the field play between Stanford and Cal. Imagine that happened now. Like they're celebrating, they run over the bad guy, they're celebrating the end zone, like, hold on, we got a booth review. No, that's not sports. Sports is full of mistakes, small errors made because you got to make snap judgments, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, or whether you're an official. And you got to shut the hell up about this stuff. It's obnoxious. I get it. They missed a call. Woe is me. We're the Lions. We got screwed. No, you didn't. Would I have liked to see Matt Stafford get the ball back? Yeah. Was it unfortunate that call went against you? It was. Let it be known Packers are still going to kick a field goal. We're still going to go up 23-22. And you would have had to get a stop. And I thought that both those hands to the face, they were iffy at best. Upon further review, if you check out the still footage, it looks like at least one of those appears to have been a good call. And as much as you could say, well, what if you just hit him a little on the face mask? I get it, but where do you draw the line? It's hard. And my takeaway is Aaron Rodgers is incredible. Matt Patricia's doing a nice job. And I will not allow a couple of calls that were 50-50 to take away from the fact that I enjoyed Monday Night Football. I thought it was great. Sorry if that ruins the Lions season. You win some and you lose some. I mean, this is Lions fans PTSD from the Calvin Johnson. He caught it in the end zone. PTSD from the Lions when they played the Cowboys in the playoffs a couple years ago. Remember that? Cowboys got a bunch of calls. You're like, man, here we go again. The league's against the Lions. No, they're not. There's no meeting that goes, all right, guys, listen. See the guys in Honolulu Blue? F them. To them. Like, Detroit, you've gotten the benefit of the doubt far more so than you ever should have. You got Super Bowls for no apparent reason. Right? Because people feel bad that the weather sucks, that the economy has sucked, and we're like, all right, we'll throw you a bone. We'll give you a Super Bowl. We'll give you a Final Four. No way Detroit should have gotten either. But you did. You got the benefit of the doubt. Nobody's out to screw you. It appeared to calls I wouldn't have made if I was in that position, but I'm also not an NFL official, and it was really, really close. At some point in the season, you're going to get a couple that come your way. That was what Eddie Sutton used to tell me. Don't you ref, I'll ref. And over the life of he used to say, over college basketball season, you're gonna get a couple that don't go your way, and you're gonna get a couple that do. And no one ever says thank you when it gets the couple that come your way. No one ever says like, hey, we would have lost that game if not for those couple of calls. They only say we would have won that game if not for those couple of calls. It's the only time. Therein lies the correlation between something I always tell you, right? No one ever asked for a second opinion. on good news, and no one ever gives credit to the officials when they win a game. We wouldn't have won that one, not for the refs. The refs only cause you to lose football games. Remember that. Skill, talent, scheme, cohesiveness, culture, that helps you win. Refs, that makes you lose. We good? All right, good.
Hi, I'm Doug Gottlieb from Fox Sports Radio, and you need to subscribe to the Fox Sports Radio YouTube channel where you can hear and see me. Why not? Plus, everybody else who's awesome here in Fox Sports Radio.